Oh. Oh. So the women played Man United, right? And it was a pretty dull 0-0 game. One that if it wasn't against Man United away, I would have been pretty upset. But as it was United away, I didn't mind a draw too much, and it was a dull game, and kind of just chill for the most part. So the men's team then decided that actually my resting heart rate was way too steady. They needed to give me a proper bit of fun. And so we get Arsenal versus Manchester City. And I just think I might need like an hour or so to recover from that. Maybe longer. Like I was full on stress pacing by the end of the game because Martinelli finally scored and it was brilliant, but then you have another few minutes to go and all of a sudden Man City looked like maybe they could get something. And I do think Man City looked for the most part the more threatening team. Like I don't know. This is kind of like a reverse of our last game against Manchester City, where the game against not the 5-1 one, the one that he had, where we had to defend for the entire second half, a 1 goal lead, and we so nearly did it, and then it all came apart right at the end. And this one wasn't right at the end for Manchester City, but it was pretty dang close. Very similar script where, 10 men behind the ball at any moment, just to, hold on, hope to get a counterattack going maybe. But the primary goal is to hold on to the lead that you have. And then right at the end, Martinelli. Oh, thank you, Martinelli. I love you, Martinelli. I'm sorry for anything I might have ever said about you that might suggest that I thought we should move on from you and transfer you to another team. It turns out that Martinelli just needs to be a super sub, and then he's Brazilian again. He's the GOAT. I mean, this is the second time where he scored in a crucial moment for us off a very quick break. And you get the one-on-one against Bilbao, and then this one was a little bit different, but fairly similar circumstances off the break out on his own, and it was a very well-executed shot, just sort of dinking it over Donnarumma into the goal. So Martinelli rescues us in a very stressful game, and I think that's actually when the heart rate started going, whoa, like, it's crazy. It's like, I don't even... Okay. So I decided that I was going to just like film a reaction to this right away, right after the game, which I don't usually do. And normally I like to compose myself a little bit because sometimes I do get very stressed and very involved in the match. It probably looked a bit weird in the pub, just me like pacing around while other people were watching, and I'm just like there. But I'm just happy we didn't lose. I'm happy that we got a result. There's a part of me that wants to take a little bit of vindictive joy from the fact that it was Manchester City who had to defend for their lives after some of the comments made by City players after the game at Etihad last year. But more than anything, it's kind of just like I'm happy that we didn't lose. And I think there even is a sense of encouragement in the fact that Manchester City kind of had to mid and then low block they kind of mid blocked most of the first half and low blocked most of the second half. And last season in that game at Manchester City, that was us. And this season, it was them. And I can't take too much encouragement from that because at the end of the day, we didn't win. But I do think there is something at least a little bit nice about that. The fact that it wasn't us who were playing on the back. Like, it wasn't us who were relying on counterattacks quite so much. So they played the mid block and the low block, which has been pretty effective against us, even with a lot of the players we have. But there's like Arsenal genuinely seem different this year in a way that is giving me more hope than maybe it should because hope kills. But like the fact that we can now turn to the bench, like Martinelli as a starter, we can probably do better. But all of a sudden, when he's, a bench player who can come off and be a super sub, he's probably one of the best options you could possibly have off the bench. And he showed it again today. And even though this result really helps Liverpool more than anyone, I'm just kind of like I just feel good. And maybe tomorrow I'm gonna look at this and think, yeah, that we probably needed to win that, and maybe we did. I mean, we've had for the most part a tougher start than Liverpool. I think it really depends on if we can beat Liverpool at Emirates. About potentially being in a title race. It doesn't look like much right now because Liverpool's 5 points ahead. But like the easier fixtures are gonna come, we had the second hardest start to the season, I think, of anyone. And if anything, I'm just happy that things can calm down a little bit, and I feel more or less all right considering the amount of stress that game caused me.